So another question we've gotten that I think is really common that you probably get on a weekly basis.
It's a loaded question.
It is a loaded question. I love to ask them and make you try to answer them.
It's crazy.
But it's, how much can I rent my house for in McKinney, and what do I actually keep?
I give them the general sales answer. It depends.
It depends. I mean, we all know Glynn's going to say it depends, but we're gonna go high level on this 30,000-foot view and kind of break it down so that if this question does resonate with you, you can have the phone call and maybe get some of these numbers ahead of time so that you can really have a high level conversation. So a lot of times we'll see like a 3-bedroom single family home in McKinney, low to mid 2000s, because usually they're about maybe 1,600 square feet to 2,200 square feet, maybe 2,500 square feet. So it just depends on the size first, and it depends probably on bedroom count, and then it probably depends on location in McKinney. I would say it's probably those factors.
When people do their searches, I think they first, absolute number one is price.
Price, yes.
That starts it off, and then they're looking for how many bedrooms do I need.
Yep.
Bathrooms are within a 1 or 2 here and there. That's a minor.
Yes, they can share a bathroom.
Bathrooms number 2
before they want to share a bedroom.
And location is more and more huge.
Because of school districts too, usually.
Because we've had some people that they applied for one of our properties. Mm-hmm. They didn't quite qualify for that property, but they would qualify for any of our other properties, and we'd send them a link to our other properties. And they liked the house, but absolutely, I will not stay in that school district.
Yep.
And their school districts are very, very prominent now in the search bar for rentals.
Yes, which is crazy because you would think
there's a lot of good and bad things going on with school districts.
There's a lot of changes coming up right now. Yes, a lot of different things are happening in every school district, and then it's just so easy for social media and online blogs to just spread different sort of information, and so it just really depends where they're getting the information, and they make decisions. So some of the things that we want to watch not only is how much could the house rent for, but how much are you anticipating for vacancy? How much for management fees? How much for maintenance and reserves? We've talked about this on previous episodes. Like, you don't want to get bankrupted because the air conditioner went out in the middle of summer and you have to buy another one because it's 105 degrees. Right. How many air conditioners have you had bust in the last month?
This week we've had 2.
2 go out? Yep. It's just so hot. And if you're not seasonally keeping up with the maintenance on them and changing the filters out, you will destroy an HVAC unit in Texas.
We've probably replaced 8 capacitors so far.
Mm-hmm. What's the range on capacitor pricing? Is like $500 for a capacitor, $250?
$250 to $300.
And then per unit that you have to have a day. So if you got 2 units, there's the 5. I knew I had the 5 come out of somewhere. So yeah, $250 right off the bat, and it has to be done emergency service usually because
if you want cool air, you need it.
And is there a requirement for the owner to keep the house at a certain level of occupancy, or do they have to provide like a hotel if they can't live in the house? That's a loaded question.
Not the occupancy, but with Texas being hot, especially right now, we're back to back 105-degree days. You got a temperature requirement. If it's above this amount, you got to
give them an option. Mm-hmm.
You got to give that option. So we last year we bought a number of portable air conditioners.
Oh.
So when somebody goes out Sunday afternoon, I was out rolling out portable air conditioning units to people so they could at least stay cool.
Yes.
And that gives them temporary relief.
Yep. That's a good in-between solution because, I mean, maybe there's...
either that or they go to the hotel.
Right, and sometimes there might be a convention in town where all the hotels are full, so it is good to have another backup as well. Yeah. And most people don't want to pack up and go into a hotel. They want to stay in their home with their food and all their things. So, yeah, that's an interest. I didn't think about portable air conditioning. And those have gotten way more accessible to purchase if you need to. Okay, that's a fun fact. See, this is my favorite part. This is just a fun fact. Vacancy, what's an average vacancy? Should you assume 2 months out of the year vacancy? Is it percentage?
With new properties, I tell my owner, number one, it is really neighborhood specific.
Oh.
You go from neighborhood to neighborhood. You might have 1 or 2 properties in one neighborhood, and the next one over, you might have 8 or 9 properties that are on the rental market.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, you're going to get price fluctuation on the list price. You also got to worry about things like the traffic on 380.
Yes.
That shuts down 2 times a day. I mean, it's almost like LA traffic.
Right.
And we got properties that are right off that
they can't get to their showing because of the traffic. And they're like, you know what? I don't want to live here.
Never mind. We don't want to look at it.
Well, you have Aubrey's up there. That's a big rental area I know of. You've got, I mean, even up 75 North in the Bottleneck of Melissa.
Van Alstyne, Anna, Princeton.
So are you saying that
they're growing?
That the inventory can also, the supply-demand inventory can affect your vacancy rates?
Absolutely.
Depending. Okay.
I generally tell new owners the budget for 2 months, and we can generally get them leased out in 1 month.
Okay.
Last week we did one in 3 days.
Nice.
And prior to that, the month before that, we did 2 of them in like 2 weeks. So it can be done, a quick turnaround, but everything's got to align just right.
But then you also have to consider, what if you have a tenant leave in the middle of the lease, or something where you're having to release in maybe not an opportune time, and it might sit more vacant because inventory's high during that time, or something along those lines. So anticipating about 2 months each year for vacancy?
Budget 2 months.
Okay.
And hope for the better.
That's fair.
But most of the time we're hitting about a month.
Okay. And then management fees, those are usually a percentage, and those range from percentage to percentage. How low have you seen it?
That depends from company to company.
Okay.
And we do our basic is 8% of the month rent collected, and our high-end package is 10%.
And you offer different tiers of service
we have a
for
tiered
that
pricing program.
Yes. And then, I mean, I feel like that's pretty standard in the current day and age for leasing companies.
You got some call center property managements that they're going out 5%, 6%, 7%, and
but they're just collecting checks at that point.
They're collecting a check. They don't have no boots on the ground to go and look at the property.
Who's solving the problems when the problems come up? Are they passing it on to the landlord?
Calling the yellow pages and trying to find a vendor, and
then they're passing you the bill of some.
Right.
You know, the most expensive vendors I found are the ones with the most advertising that everyone seems to know. And when you compare them to local vendors like we have way more affordable pricing, but they're not going to care.
We have vetted
Yes.
They work on my house before I send them out to your house.
Yep.
So we also get that volume discount.
That's fair. Yeah. Okay. So that's something to consider of. We got maintenance and reserves. We've got our management fees. We've talked about insurance a lot in the past, making sure you know get a quote for insurance. Make sure you know what your coverage is for insurance. What your property taxes would be without your homestead cap. So making sure you're really figuring out what the house is assessed for and what they would apply the tax fee to.
There's a big difference between homestead insurance and renter's insurance.
Yes.
So make sure your insurance
and the coverage
agent
is different. Yes.
is well versed on what you need to do. So you need to talk to them.
And you need to have the right policy in place, because if you still had your homeowner's insurance on while a tenant was occupying and something went wrong, they have a base to deny that claim because it's not the right policy.
Correct.
We have the same thing when we have sellers that are selling and it becomes vacant. Like, they need to add a vacancy policy to the property to make sure that coverage is there.
Right.
So anytime you change anything about your house, go back to all your professionals
talk to your
and
people.
Talk to them and make sure you've got it. And then consider your HOA fees and plugging that into your costs, because it's rare, unlikely never, that a tenant is going to pay for your HOA fees, and those need to be calculated in. So once you add all those items together, we're seeing maybe 25 to 30% of your monthly amount
it's
is
probably a good Good guess.
Yeah, so it's going there. Obviously, it can go up and down depending on many different factors. We just gave you 7 of them. When life hits hard, late payments, medical bills, job loss, or even the need to move quickly, many homeowners feel trapped. The fastest way out seems to be selling to a cash investor, but that means giving your home away for pennies on the dollar. You don't have to do that. Nearly half of homeowners today are equity rich, and that value belongs to you. With our One Move program, you can unlock that equity immediately, get cash in hand now, and still share in the upside when your home resells. Or, if you'd rather, we'll shop your property to multiple cash buyers so you can choose the best offer instead of settling for one low bid. Go to DoneDealOffers.com and discover the smarter way to get cash fast without losing the equity you've worked so hard to build.
What does Real Property Management do for you? Advertising, marketing, prepping, inspecting, showing and screening, reviewing, accepting, selecting and signing, briefing and moving, maintaining, inspecting, enforcing, responding, pricing and saving, communicating, emailing and calling and faxing and stating, coordinating, scheduling, unlocking, fixing, accounting, reporting, funding, filing, and nixing, complying, renewing or moving, collecting, evicting, assessing, rekeying, and ever repeating. And meanwhile, we're training and ever refining, always running to keep vacancies ever declining. Because Real Property Management means oh so much more than cashing a rent check. Oh no, so much more. The discount shops say they can do all this too. Without staff, systems, resources, how can that be true? Tens of thousands of investors nationwide know when they need real management, just where to go. We're proven and trusted winter, spring, summer, fall, from major catastrophes down to the small. So if you own rentals, grab the phone and make a call. Real Property Management. We handle it all.
You also got to remember that you have these expenses you got to factor in, but you got to talk to your CPA because you can write off a lot of these expenses.
Yeah.
So this helps your return on investment that maybe I'm not cash flowing it, but I'm getting a break on the tax side.
Yes.
So
it just
it
depends.
kind of it's different for every property.
Well, but then you have to look at the initial, okay, I might win that conversation at the end of the year when I file my taxes, but I got to get 6 months of negative payments.
Correct.
And so it's like, okay, where's your threshold for pain tolerance?
How much can you bear?
Yeah, how much can you bear? Does it make sense for you and your family? And we have a lot of people we come across that want to be investors, and sometimes their property is not the best first property. There's a different property to purchase in a different vehicle setup that makes more sense to be their rental property. And just because this one house doesn't make sense for you to be an investor doesn't mean you're doomed to never invest, right? There's hope out there to still be an investor.
Part of my job is when those potential investors give me the address, let me run your market analysis for you, then you can start running your return on investment.
Correct.
You can throw in the expense. There's all kinds of programs. We have a program that will calculate that for you also. But you have a good baseline. This is what I think I can get for rent.
Yep.
Not what I want to get, but what the market is bearing.
And not what AI or all those robots want to tell you.
Zillow's estimate is not, it's plus or minus 30%.
Yep.
That's what I tell owners. And
it doesn't make sense to make such a huge financial decision based off an unverified source. When you can have a free conversation with either of us, I'm just going to send them back to you, but they can call either of us to get the numbers of what they think at least the market bears right now. And then sometimes you can look and say, okay, I'm going to look back 365 days and I can maybe see a trend that you might get a better rent rate in the spring, or you might get a better rent in the winter, or like, who knows? And those are conversations we can have. You're not going to get that from an AI search or a Zestimate. They're going to tell you what they think you want to hear.
If we've had a house for a number of years, I can tell you today you can get this amount.
Yep.
But 2 years ago, you could get $500 more a month.
Right.
Because the market bared that.
Yep.
Now it doesn't.
Yep.
So unless you're talking to somebody,
You're not going to
you're
know.
not going to get that.
Mm-mm. So pricing's really, really important because to get a good net, you have to have a good top line price. But if you overprice it, it's almost the same situation with a seller that overprices. If they would have just come in at the number we said, they probably would have maybe gotten just slightly under that versus going 10% up and losing 25% on the way down. Like, so many people think that, well, I'm going to start high so I have room to negotiate. Well, you start so high, you price yourself out of the
Right.
market, and then you have to bring yourself down because the market has moved
To
so
get back where
far.
you should have been.
Yeah, and it's moved in the last 2 months that you've been sitting. So now you got to come even lower and then even lower than that because you have history of being days on market for so long.
People don't factor in vacancy rate.
Right.
And if you're looking at a house that's $2,400 a month, it's easy to do the numbers. For every month that you're losing $200 a month for every month that you haven't leased the property out. So, I mean, it's incredible the amount of money you lose trying to get you an extra $50. Where
Right.
if I lower the price $200 over the time, I'm going to get.
It's going to make up for it.
You'll make up for it.
Yes. But so many people get stuck in that just, well, my neighbor got this or this house got that or I need this number to work. And it's like, we can appreciate that all day long, but this is what's happening right now. And
And you
I
don't know if
love
your neighbor's lying to you too.
that too, or the neighbor's lying, or they've in their minds they just leased it out or sold it like 3 months ago, and we look back, it's been 9 months. It's like, well, that's a completely different market. The memory of some people when they hold on to what they think happened seems like just yesterday,
Yep.
and it was a whole year before that even happened.
Yep.
So you need someone who's going to really like hold the mirror up and be honest and transparent with you about what it really looks like, so you don't end up losing more money or getting caught up into something that you should have never been caught up with in the first place.
I get myself in trouble all the time because I tell them I'm going to be realistic with the numbers, and I'm going to tell you where I think you really need to be, even though they want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm going to tell you this is where you need to be at.
Yep. I just wish you get to do that more often than me, and they might come back around with me by that point. They're gone and done, and then there's pride involved, and they're like, well, I'm not going to go back to that agent that did tell me the right price, and so it's just a moot point for everybody at that point.
Right.
And no one won. No one won.
Nobody wins.
Nobody wins when you overprice your listing at all. So I guess it really comes down to, it's not necessarily like, does it cash flow? Because cash flowing
Look beyond cash flow.
Yeah, it's a very relative term. And it should be one of the concerns that you should have. It should be one of your goals is cash flow. But then it needs to be, return on equity on the house. And it needs to be, what are my tax savings? What are my depreciation savings? What are my equity growth? Like, what are all these things that I can consider? Because there's about 4 pillars of wealth when it comes to investing. And maybe not all the boxes check, but eventually maybe they all could, because your equity gets bought down so low that your rental now is cash flowing.
Right.
It just depends on what you're trying to do. So our loaded question of how much can I rent my house for and how much do I actually keep? Depends.
It depends.
It depends.
It works.
We're happy to have a free conversation. We're happy. Your calculator's on your website that they can just plug numbers in if they want to. So that's easy to do. And then we're happy to have the conversations. It's usually not too long for us to determine the average in a certain neighborhood.
Doesn't take long.
We do it so often, it's not going to take us hours. A person that is new to this, that's trying to figure out everything through Zillow or Realtor,
It can take a little.
it can take a long time, and they're going to get misinformation because Texas is a non-disclosure state, so they're not seeing the sold. They're just seeing when a house sells, they're seeing the list price of when it sold or the rent price of when it closed. They're not seeing what it actually rented for.
Right.
It could have rented $100 cheaper. And that's going to skew anybody's numbers if you don't have the right data.
That's a good thing about working with the realtors, because we have the MLS.
Yep.
And we got to put, this was what it was listed for, but this is what it actually sold for.
Yep.
So you're getting more realistic numbers.
100%. And would you say a lot of investors are listing their homes on MLS these days? Because they could put on Craigslist or other.
It drives
Zillow.
me crazy. Well, there's a lot of property managers I talk to, they don't use it.
That's crazy.
And I go, you're narrowing your tenant pool tremendously.
Yes. And you're narrowing your comps as well, because there's nothing really to support it outside of that. That's crazy. That was just a random question.
I think it's foolish.
To not use it.
It's a poor business decision in my that business's part.
And the MLS fees are not worth Like
No,
they stink to have to, but we get a lot of value for MLS fees, right? Like
it's worth the
there's a
money.
lot of value you get in it to have
Yes.
access to the MLS and to have that be a business choice that you make. You may want to consider the rest of the company you're hiring, because if they're cutting costs on that, you
Right.
may not want them as your management company. That's me saying it, not you.
That's right.
I'll say it for you.